Welcome back to Afternoon Live. We know the quarantine is hard on our mental health, and we've talked a lot about the kids, but have you considered how being stuck at home is impacting the health of your marriage? We're going there today. Here with how to navigate relationship conflict during this quarantine is couples therapist Maegan Megginson. Hi, Maegan. It's good to see you.
Hey, welcome to my virtual therapy office.
I was going to ask you, have you been still conducting business just like via the virtual realm?
Most therapists, including us here at the Center for Couples and Sex Therapy, have transitioned 100% to telehealth, which means you get to sit on your sofa and do therapy with me just like this.
Well, that sounds good, especially for those who may need some extra help during this time. And today we're talking about couples. So tell me, be honest, have you had a rise in people considering divorce during this crazy time?
Well, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, the reality right now, Trey, is that this is going to be a very challenging time, right? Not only are we experiencing a crisis, which is traumatic in itself, but we are cooped up with our partners 24/7. So whatever conflict, whatever problems you had in your relationship before the quarantine are definitely going to flare up during this time.
Well, that makes total sense. But I have to ask you, where do you think the source of most of the conflict comes from?
Yeah, it's a really great question. I think there's going to be conflict. You know, the conflict that you had pre-quarantine will be the conflict that you have during the quarantine. But there is a new source of conflict that I am processing with lots of my couples, which is how do we navigate each other's different needs? Right? We all have different needs when it comes to, you know, what do I need to soothe my anxiety? Or what do I need to recharge my batteries? My needs and my partner's needs are probably going to look different. And if we're having a hard time, if we're butting heads when it comes to navigating those needs, you're very likely going to notice an increase in irritability and conflict.
Also making a lot of sense. Not saying from any personal experience.
I am.
Oh, kidding. You didn't see my face, but okay.
I can see your face, right.
Okay, but let's talk about how we can work towards resolving it and not toward calling a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, let me explain a couple of the most common areas of differing needs I'm noticing, just to normalize that, you know, what you need right now isn't at all unusual. For example, some people need a lot of togetherness and some people need more alone time. So if you have a partner that wants to be together, wants to talk, wants to touch, and you are feeling like what you need to be okay is alone time, solitude, space, that can be really difficult to navigate. Another area I'm hearing a lot about right now are couples who aren't on the same page about how seriously they're taking the virus and the quarantine itself. So there are some people who are really feeling very worried. They're wanting to take a lot of precautions, lots of cleaning, sanitizing, not going out. If your partner isn't on the same page with you in that regard, it can be really, really tricky to navigate life in a way that leaves you both feeling okay. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Like, I don't know how you would be able to navigate those if their needs are so opposite.
It feels really challenging. And I think a lot of couples, because they are so stressed, right? Baseline stress right now is extremely high. Navigating conflict that feels like gridlock or feels insurmountable is overwhelming a lot of people. But I'm here to remind you that we are all adults. We have creative problem-solving capacities, and we can figure this out.
Okay, so once we've identified our own personal needs and obviously how they may differ from our partner, how do you actually, I need one good solid way at least to navigate through the conflict and come out on the other side healthier even.
Yeah. Sure, right. So step one is getting really clear about what your individual needs are. If you're not able to write them out in a list, they aren't clear enough. Sit down, reflect, what do I need to feel okay right now? Write it down. And then step two is schedule time to have a needs conversation with your partner. So I really do want you to schedule an hour or two, an hour and a half to sit down, bring your needs to the table, bring your lists to the table, and figure out how are we going to make this work? What time of day am I going to get my need met? What time of day are you going to get your need met? I want to validate that this is more challenging if you're home with young children right now. Navigating childcare feels very difficult, understandably so. But if you really sit with your lists at hand and you try to create a new structure, a new routine, a new set of house rules for your life during the quarantine, a lot of people are finding that there are creative ways they can guarantee that they both get at least a little bit of what they need. Now, that being said, conflict is inevitable right now. There is nothing we can do to avoid conflict. I'm not even going to encourage you to avoid conflict. In fact, like, I give you permission to feel and experience as much conflict as you need.
We just need to be able to do it in a healthy way. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because guess what? Megan has a webinar coming up about how not to get divorced during quarantine. So we're going to have more information about her and the webinar on our website at k82.com. Don't go away. We will be right back. Thank you.
Earth-friendly ideas, sustainable solutions, and everyday ways to go green. Family